change incredibly for us now. Believe it or not, this is a beach here, this grass area. If we were to come back later on this afternoon, the traffic would be very heavy and this will be packed with people. Packed with people. And this little walkway, which leads all the way around to Bardelino, to really have dialects. It's starting to happen, hardly at all compared to these nations here. So in the United States of America, in particular, you now have your differences with accents between the East Coast, the West Coast, between the Midwest, the South, etc. And look at all these houses up to the right of us. Now these are the sort of areas where you with the East and the West.
The campgrounds in here.
And a lot of these agencies out here will
lots of Germans and Austrians
from the very first
down here. This time of year,
inquiry,
they come down for the
right through
wine cure,
right through to the end, to the signing over of the house. Anyone can purchase it. Now this is where we now start to come into what we call the Dolomites. Stone rock from the mountains. Now I do believe, I can't tell you this for fact once again, one of my passengers told me this. He worked in the steel industry, and he was telling me that a lot of particular companies dealing with steel use dolomite rock in their furnaces, that the rock absorbs heat and projects heat. And that's how we have our name for the Dolomite Mountains. It's actually the name of the rock which has formed this mountain range. Left here, it's a lovely spot here. Now Garda is famous for its left of the coach. You can see the olive groves climbing up the ridge behind the town. You can see here it's a beautiful little town, Garda. Once again, we can't stop at every town. Trying to pick out the best ones for you today. You could even put Garda in. There's a fabulous little trout restaurant here in Garda. There's another couple of these little roundabouts.
The town of Garda.
Okay, now we're going to climb a little way. I can tell you that birch. Look over here to the left now. You can see how it's quite wide. But look how the mountains on the other side now are starting to become high. We will actually be crossing over into what was Austria, not Italy, was Austria. So we're going to be going into the Germanic part and influenced world of northern Italy on our day today. And nowhere will that be a more example than our final destination, which will be at Riva del Garda. Maybe we can have a bratwurst or a wurstel.
So this is Malcesine we're coming to.
Chocolate cake.
You can see the castle in the distance. Very pretty little area.
Now if you take out all of the children in the population, take out everyone that doesn't drink beer in the population, 7 litres per year, the average German. what would that be with Guinness? 15 pints of Guinness. This is Torri, and here at Torri del Benaco, you'll be able to see the remains of, again, always with all of the castles out here on this side, you're talking 13th century. Look at the old remains of the castle of Torri del Benaco.
Yeah, I had
once
seen
again,
Malcesine,
Scala family
but this is
of Verona.
Yep.
See the V shape once again in the fortifications.
So in terms of the map, this is Torri del Benaco, which we just passed, and Malcesine is way. Malcesine, here it is here. Malcesine, and we're down here. You can see the lake's a little bit like an upside down light bulb, wider at the base, thinner at the top.
One of the great things about the lake is the fact that for the people that are actually in the know a little bit, they will make their way along the lake, but for other days, for a little bit of peace and tranquility and some absolutely spectacular drives and views, they'll make their way up above us to the right, and over the other side of the lake. Can you see there's a couple of small little villages and towns up in the side of the mountain? Between the rocks there's a little valley.
Here.
There's a couple of tiny little villages up there. Now roads go up to those villages, connected, and on the other side of those mountains are other small little lakes. And so the people that really are the more exploring sort of people get in their cars and they make their way up to checking out the length and the shape and the mountains. It's a fantastically clear day today. We're really lucky once again.
This is the village of Pai, P-A-I. Nice little promenade.
Actually going to see something today, which all depends on the weather, but we're definitely going to see it today. You're going to see something very famous of Lake Garda, and that is the funneling system of the weather here because of this narrow valley of the mountains. See, if you look across the water here when we turn to the right, if you look out toward the front left of the coach, you can see where the water changes. You see there's a line of wind out in the center there.
Yeah.
That wind is blowing down from the north, and it blows down through a very narrow gully at the northern end of the lake, of which we'll see later on. It blows sometimes quite heavily, as it looks like it's blowing quite heavily today. But that means that Lake Garda, the northern end of Lake Garda, is one of the most famous places in the world for windsurfing. Again, a very small town, not like Lazise or Bardelino or Malcesine. This is a tiny little town, very much a sailing and windsurfing town. Have a look here in front of us. This is beautiful. See how we pass right through the center of town here. Now we're just going to come into a gap here and have a look out to the left. We can't go much slower, folks, otherwise we're holding up traffic behind us. But look here to the left. Here's the little port. Look at that. There we are. We're right next to the center of town. the lake right there. Etc. Come here to Lake Garda and go up into this still very strong influence island, which is coming up out in the centre of the lake here. And what you will be able to see out on the lake, out on the island itself, is you'll be able to make out some fortifications. The fortifications are from the First World War. We are now coming very close to that border at one time of Austria and Italy. See what I mean? The wind has definitely picked up at this northern end because it funnels. You see what I mean now? Funnels down between. It's now a little park out there. You'll get a fantastic view later on, folks, of Monte Baldo when we cross over to Limone.